I actually want to talk about our top intention for the wedding, and that's energy. And we had talked about what we wanted for the wedding day, and
The whole time.
the whole time.
Like when we started talking about the wedding,
We didn't have the conversations of like what color scheme and
mm-mm.
things like that. We went the route of, and this is about as on brand as it could possibly be, but like, how do we want to feel and how do we want everyone there to feel? And we looked at that through the lens of energy, and what's the energy we want for the day, and what's the energy we want to give off and bring. And so we really spent a lot of time kind of trying to manifest that and feel that. And when it boiled down in our conversations, we really came to this, like, we want people to feel love. We want people to feel our love, the love of our family unit, and the love we have for them. Like, we just want this energy of love.
When you come to a wedding, we talked about it. What are you going to see? Like, do you care so much about the food? Do you care so much about the colors? Do you care so much about what people are wearing? Like, mistakes can happen all over the place, but the one thing we didn't want to lose sight of was, let's let this be a display of love. And I don't want to derail us. I typically do, but I got married when I was younger, and I contemplated that a lot in the light of getting married again. And so there was some, like, it was very redeeming for me to get to do this again, because in the first time that I got married, and I think a lot of people who get married young, this is probably what happens to them, especially if they grow up in the church or whatever, you're almost trying to get to something. Like, the wedding day is a day, like a door that you're entering into a marriage, right? And yes, like, it is this commitment you're making, but I actually really didn't want to view our wedding like that. And I remember telling you this multiple times, like, I want this to be a display and a ceremony that reflects what has already been built. Not, because I think a lot of times it can be like out of insecurity. Almost, you think of somebody who's really insecure and wants to be looked at as rich, so they buy a nice car. And so a wedding can be that. Like, I want to be in love. I want to have this good marriage. So it's like an overcompensation for what's not already built underneath in the relationship. And I didn't want our wedding to be that. Like, I knew what we had built. I was confident in what we built. We've had not all the hard conversations. I'm sure there's more to be had for the next 50 years, but we've had so many. We've had so many hard conversations because I did have daughters, and we're in our 30s and we're a little more seasoned. So I think we just went into it having all those hard conversations and building. And we did do courses and classes on inner work, and have gone to the depths of our soul with each other, and still going deeper. But I just knew that if we could hold sight of love and let it be a display of what already is, then it would just feel more authentic.
How do you feel we displayed that? And let's maybe talk about how we were intentional about trying to bring people in to our love.
Yeah, well, like, the first thing is letting go of people's perception, because I think anyone at our wedding, I think people view things like a movie. If they watch a movie, they view it through their lens, or listen to a song, they interpret it through their perception. So to say, like, we want to make everyone feel at our wedding a certain way is pretty much damn near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, so yes, we wanted that, but you almost have to let that go in order to have it. So it's like, how do we do that? Well, we don't try to think of anyone in particular and how they would perceive it or anything like that. We just trust that if we're authentic and we show our authentic version of love, it will be seen. It will be witnessed, and we let the chips land where they fall. And so we talked about like, how do we show our love, and then like, what's important to us? Is it what I'm wearing? Is it what you're wearing? Is it how all the little details? No, let's not put too much thought into any single detail. So like, we even outsourced things. Like, I was nervous about the lighting because I think lighting is a big part of the mood, and we outsourced to your cousin who's a cinematographer, had him come down and been like, what do you think we should do with lighting? And did exactly what he said, and trusted him. And it was insane. Like, we outsourced things. Your parents did so much stuff, and we tried to concentrate as much as we could on our love and cultivating that. Like, so we, a couple days before, stopped working and went to yoga class. It was so hard to do. It was so hard to make time for our love. And we just fought to try to not let go of that. And so like, in the intention in the wedding, well, what is our role? The vows. And so if we could put energy into the vows, let's do that.
Yeah. And I would double down, especially I would say from like the bride's perspective, of how challenging it was for me to let go of the details to focus on the love. I was caught off guard at how hard that was, because it feels like you have the weight of the world of all this pressure of organizing so many different things, that it's incredibly stressful. And it's so easy to get caught up in these little like, oh my gosh, we forgot napkins, or we, need more flowers, or whatever these little things are. It's so easy to allow them to creep in and be more important than focusing on the connection, because they're tangible things you can like check off a list and get done. And I would say we did a good job, but I could have done even better. I think like hindsight at focusing on that.
Yeah.
It was still innately very challenging, when I think, especially for us, having the wedding at our own house, there's additional amounts of pressure. There's a lot of different routes we could go with the challenges of that, but I want to bring us back to that piece of energy and how we cultivated it in this ceremony. And I think there were two ways in this ceremony that really brought the energy that we wanted. The first was out of our control, and that was Tanner, my brother-in-law, was our officiant, and
our brother-in-law now.
Our brother-in-law couldn't have made a better selection on that part. It absolutely knocked it out of the park with his intentionality behind it and how personal he made it to us. And
absolutely hilarious.
I mean, it was everything from, he did breath work, he brought in spirituality, he brought in humor, he wrote and narrated a story about us. Like, it was absolutely insane. It had us everywhere from laughing to crying within minutes of each other. But I would say that our vows were really a big part of what we talked about, of how we wanted to bring our energy. And that was like, we wanted to show up really vulnerable, authentic, and connected during those. And I think that is the part that I'm really proud of us for.
Yeah. That's what we wanted. It was beautiful. It was more than I could ever ask for.
So what is energy? We talk about it and we talk about wanting to bring it, but what is it?
Well, people say that emotion, I've heard this before, emotion is energy in motion. I think with emotional control in us, as people learn their emotions and their emotional control, you can try to control your own energy and go in with a headspace that's positive, or like, I'm just going to think, but some people don't realize energy leaks. If you have this energy that's stressed and you're trying to enjoy your wedding, it's going to leak out. And I don't like, only other people see it. Sometimes you don't even see it yourself. And so I can't really say if we had the best energy or not at the wedding, but I can say that I felt like I had tried my best to deal with my bad energy and let it out in the right places so that my energy was good and clear. Like my energy was clear in the wedding. So energy is like your authentic, I would say it's your authentic emotions, even if you're not trying to show them. It's the makeup of all your emotions that you're carrying. It's your authentic energy. Like, you meet somebody and they're like, their vibe's off, like their energy's just off. Maybe they're trying to be positive. They don't know how to not. They have stuff that they haven't cleared out of their system that's like leaking out, insecurity or jealousy or whatever. You can't always hide and mask your energy. You can try your best, but it's going to show through. And people can sniff it out like dogs.
Well, because you can feel it. You can feel someone else's energy.
Yeah.
And I think as much as we focused on bringing good energy to the day, I think my one regret, snafu, hardest part of the day when I look back on it was when we were getting ready. I was ready. I was hanging, having a good time. I wasn't like looking at the clock. I felt like I had great energy. And then all of a sudden I looked at the clock and I was like, oh my gosh, we're an hour and a half behind schedule. I'm not in my dress and we're like 10 minutes into the first look, like on the schedule. And my energy just shifted into sheer anxiety and fear and panic. And I was like, to my sister was like, we're so behind schedule. Like, can you get the coordinator? Like, what's happening? And the coordinator came in and I was like, we're an hour and a half behind schedule. Like, what's happening? And she didn't know. And my energy was so anxious that it leaked out all over the place and everyone could feel it, because really the bride and groom set the energy for the day. And when they're not well, everyone else is going to feel it because you take your tone off of them. And so then I said to her, I was like, I want us to be on time. And what I should have communicated was, can you tell me what's going on? I'm scared. But I didn't communicate it well. And I was like, I want us to be on time. And so then she went in and like to the guys' room and was like, everyone get ready. We got to go now. And then we all started getting ready in this hustle. And my honestly bad energy just leaked everywhere and everyone felt it. And then I immediately went, oh my gosh, I just leaked bad energy everywhere. This is exactly what I didn't want to do. And I was like so upset with myself. And I was like, you know what? I got to go see Dave. Like, I need help regulating. I'm upset at what's going on, and was able to compose myself enough to do our first look. And you helped bring me back to earth and go, yeah, timelines don't matter. Like, our energy matters. Remember that? And I went, oh my gosh, okay, you're right. And was able to make that super conscious choice of, if everything's an hour and a half late, it's fine. What matters is my energy. And I forgot it in that moment and just went sheer stress and panic. And really what it was is I didn't do a good enough job truly passing over the reins of control.
Yeah.
I still wanted to control the wedding day because I had been for months, and I didn't.
I told you, I was like, you're playing backup coordinator right now.
Yeah.
don't play backup coordinator. We hired a day of coordinator, and well worth it, and just, chill.
Yep. And so then I was able to release. I came back in and apologized to all my bridesmaids for my energy, owned it, and was like, I'm not going to do that again, and made that a very conscious choice. And I'm bummed that I wasn't able to keep the energy I wanted the whole day. I'm really grateful it happened early on. I saw what the power of my energy can do and chose differently the entire rest of the day, and
Yeah.
truly brought the energy that I wanted to bring and had a fantastic day. But I tell that story because it's so easy to lose perspective. And when you do that, you just leak that energy everywhere. And that like, I actually think that could ruin the day more than if the food vendor doesn't show up. It truly is the most important thing. And in ways, it can be the hardest thing.
Oh yeah, to keep perspective in light of things going wrong is like one of the biggest challenges in life. But that's what people, that when you don't have energy awareness or awareness of your own energy or how your energy affects others, you forget that your energy is important. If you kill the vibe, you kill the whole thing. Like,